United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everybody to this evening's meeting. Call the meeting to order and have the secretary call the roll.
Mac Rankin.
Present.
Eric Christensen.
Here.
Tim Mills.
Here.
Ryan Whirling. Sue Wilson.
Here.
Matt Campbell.
Ryan is running a couple of minutes late from work, but he will be here as soon as he can. And Ben is out of town this evening, so he will not be able to join us. Any board member reports or good news?
Oh, I'm very sorry.
Oh, you're all right.
Just fine.
We thought it was a good report.
Well, and a lot of the details were very well.
Anything from admin outside of social media?
I put at your places a culmination of last year's achievements by our activities department. So from athletics to the band to the orchestra. We don't have the drama, we didn't have that information compiled, but I thought it was a pretty impressive list of things that our kids have accomplished over the year. And so I wanted to share that with you and give you some information that you can take with you in case people want to know.
Well, that's
and
great.
share it with others.
5 pages of accomplishments.
5 pages of accomplishments, yes. So.
Thank you for sharing that. Any communications or public comment? Okay, moving right along. Next item is the consent agenda. Is there any items that the board would like to pull for discussion? Otherwise, entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion made by Tim,
Second.
seconded by Eric. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, moving right on down the list to section F. First discussion item is board policies. We did not have any committee meetings last month. However, we have a second reading on the 2 new policies in relation to cell phone usage inside of the school day. 503.09 and 503.09R1. We had discussed last month, as you guys know, continuing into this month with the second reading to see if any of the community had any input. I personally did not hear anything from anybody, but would love to hear if any of you got any feedback from the community.
I had a few emails from parents wondering on teacher accountability. Like, is it within each of the teachers to still create their own program with it? Is it our building principals kind of holding teachers accountable for making sure that we're all kind of at baseline know exactly what's expected, or how are we kind of working that?
So the purpose of creating a policy was to really help teachers enforce the handbooks and things that have already been in place. And so it would be on the building administration to set those parameters. So what does it look like in the high school when a teacher could say, hey, take your phone out? What does that look like? They can't necessarily leave with their phones. But we did talk about today at our cabinet meeting, our administrative meeting, that this is on them to now enforce. And what does that look like? Making sure that we are putting it in place, because otherwise, we might as well not have a policy. So they do understand that. It might take a few times through it to get it right. What does it look like? We might have to send some reminders out to staff. Hey, bell to bell at K-8, what does that look like? I know our middle school is used to maybe taking it out at lunchtime or out at recess. That's not what this policy says. It's bell to bell, it's put away. So they're going to have to do that. I know each high school, some of them have pockets, some of them say just put it away, it's on your honor. Some of them have little cubbies that they put them in. So each teacher will probably set up their own room protocol as to what they're comfortable with within that.
Did the administrators of the building say teachers are excited about this policy? Did they?
They haven't, no, they haven't said in there.
With the success that we've had, seen other districts in the last year have with it, I'm excited for it. So hopefully we have the same positive results.
And what districts were those?
Oh, Rob really did quite a bit of the,
Well, Atalma was one of the first ones to do, and Grimes had Hoover.
yeah.
Hoover, Des Moines Public were some of the first ones to, yeah, yep. There's a lot. A lot of them were in full swing before legislation came through. Yeah. And a lot of our teachers at the high school already have like what, those shoe holders, a lot of them already have those in their classrooms, and you have a certain number, and you walk in, and that's your number for the year, and you put your phone in that, so a lot of them are already, this shouldn't be new, but I think there were some others struggling with, what do I do with this in my classroom? So,
And again, it's about giving the teeth to now enforce it, right? Versus it was my preference that you put your phone away. Now it's the policy, right? And it's state law that phones are put away during that instructional time in there, so. And we'll do a communication similar to what we did with chronic absenteeism out on social media. I did a bright arrow message to everybody that, hey, here's the new policy, here's what you can expect, type of thing. It goes out on social media, so it's not super in-depth, but we'll link the policy in there. So.
Any other discussion? If not, motion to approve the second reading.
Motion to approve second reading of the presented policies.
Motion made by Eric,
I'll second.
seconded by Sue. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item is the revised handbooks. There are 3 handbooks that have some updates. Any discussion on those?
Some of these revisions are just,
Legislative changes.
right, legislative changes are through ISB or recommended or suggestions. It's not often that we just come up with all our own verbiage and put things in handbooks, right?
Right.
It's usually the guidance of legal or legislation or ISB.
Or it's a restatement of our board policies in there. They do come to you, if you remember, as for your approval because they're an extension of your board policies. If something in board policy is different than what's in the handbook, board policy will always trump handbook. State law always trumps policy. Or federal law.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the recommended handbook changes.
Motion made by Eric, seconded by Tim. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right. It's our favorite time of the night. Brian, you ready?
Bring the meeting to a climax here.
Ray, are we just spinning because we can't get in there?
Notice that the financials look a little different than they have in the past. I'm open to suggestions, but I like presenting information that also shows the cash and then the revenues and expenditures that compare the last 2 years to kind of give you an idea of trends. And like I said, I'm open to suggestions. If you want to see another year, if you want to see 3 years, or if you want to see more funds or less funds, I can do whatever the board desires in that matter. It's not a big ask on my part. So, and if you have any questions on each of them,
Brian, could you take that general fund and just walk us through what we're looking at in there?
so the general fund, these are financials for the end of May. The cash balance for May this year was $15,589,000. $571. The prior month, or the prior year, May 2024, the balance was $15,556,655. So you see it's very similar to where it was the year before. And then you can see the month before, April 25, was $15,547,076. So there's not a lot of variation in those numbers, that's a good place to be. When we have a pretty healthy end of the fund balance, so just maintaining is a good place to be. You don't want to have too much money or not enough. So that's nice, and you can see we're, pretty even with prior year, so you don't have to, there's no drastic changes in our revenue. And so our revenue is broken down by local, which is property taxes, and that was $14,282,000. State, which is state aid, along with some other smaller amounts of $26,268,000. And then federal would be all our federal grants like Title I, Title II, 6B, RB, and that's $916,000. And as you can see, that's down slightly from the prior year of $990,000. And that's down because the ESSER money was gone. Other than that, the other funds are pretty similar from year to year. And then kind of miscellaneous other is $211,000 compared to just under $182,000 the year before. And once we start the new year, you'll see a budgeted figure in there, and then a percent of year to date, so you can kind of calculate where we are compared to where our budget is, which would be good information to have. And then our expense side, our regular program instruction, at the end of May, we had spent just over $21 million. Compared to last year was just under $20 million. Support services, which that includes, I would say, counselors, I'm trying to think somebody else would be in that group, administrative. So that was just under 14 million spent, and the prior year was a little over 13 million, so a little bit more. Other uses, kind of miscellaneous things, of 1.3 million, the year before was 1.6. So total expenses through the end of May were $36,392,000 versus $34,678,000 the year before. So you take revenues less expenditures, you get $5.2 million for May of 25 and just under 6.6 for May of 24. Set.
I like the way that you broke it out. I did have a question on the capital project. Is that one the revenue less expenses or the negative there? $8,116,000. That's due to our improvements, right?
And that'd be a timing thing. So that's the high school project. So that would depend on if the bonds were sold versus, if the bonds were sold in fiscal year 23, but then the expenses are in fiscal year 24, that would account for that.
Any other questions on the finance report? All right, motion to approve.
Motion to approve the financial report?
Motion made by Eric. Seconded by Sue. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a receipt for the sealed bids by the superintendent of schools, secretary of the board, and municipal advisor for the school district. and referring the same to the Board of Directors. We did not have any bids that were received. We are in the process of updating, republishing for the bids, and that will hopefully go out here in the end of this month, beginning of next month. We will have bids that come back in.
Yeah, so we'll have no action on B or C. Those are put on in case we would have received any bids on those.
Next item is the Facilities Committee report from the 7th.
We can talk about it.
So, Joint Fuel Facility, Ron, who's here, was in attendance at the Facilities Committee meeting that we had. Talked about the agreement between the city and county and the school district was kind of going away. And so, since the county was leaving that situation, we looked at whether or not we should have our own fuel island. So Jeff Johnson came in from Agriland FS, kind of talked us through what that would look like, how something like that would operate, and provided a solution that we could start the school year fueling our buses and navigating that. There was talk about how it reduced some time, some wait time, and we would likely even see some savings. The district's operations center building update, the door, which you've heard talked about before, has continued to be less than perfect. And so we've held $25,000 in retainer. Graphite understands it. Their intent is to fix it, but there's a lead time on getting the door and the frame. So we're holding that in retainage until that project is finished. Baseball, softball project update, we talked about that. Bernie was on the line. Talked about how there's a couple of areas on the map that there's just a little bit less light. When we looked at the whole, we're not foot candle experts by any means, but when we looked at the visual of what was presented, we did not see it as a big enough concern to go and spend $85,000 to $130,000 on new lights. We felt like it was better to keep the lights that we have, move forward with that, and if there was an issue, then address that issue at that time. Is there anything else that we discussed? I think that was it.
Any questions for the Facilities Committee? Thank you for the report. Next item is the board calendar. Are there any adjustments that board members or cabinet members need to make to the calendar? Okay. That's it, guys. August is always a short.
I mean, I could have got my kid to watch it.
There you go. Ryan's not here, so somebody else is going to have to adjourn.
I can adjourn. I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Jeanette,
I'll second.
seconded by Sue. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Have a great night.
Probably the shortest meeting ever.